Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Ken, also known as ThePopHeir. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a product review on this foundation by Loreal. So this is the Loreal Total Cover Foundation. It says full coverage, long wearing foundation, and I am in the shade 32 Amber. By the way, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys click on the subscribe button down below. I mainly do a lot of makeup related videos and also vlog about my personal life. Okay, let's just get into the video. Okay, so before we start, I just wanted to let you guys know what my skin type is and also what I look for in foundations. So, skin type. I have pretty much normal skin, except I have an oilier T-zone. It tends to flare up, I've said this in so many videos, it tends to flare up when I am stressed, didn't get enough sleep the night before, dehydrated, it just flares up really bad, and you know what happens when you have oily skin. Okay, in terms of what I like in a foundation, I always go for medium coverage foundations, medium full coverage foundations, or full coverage foundations. So that's pretty much what I look for, and that's how I'm going to be critiquing this foundation. Also, one last thing before we start, I thought I would read out the promises for this foundation. So I'm on the Priceline website. It will retail for $29.95. So it says infallible total cover is a full coverage foundation for both face and body. This high coverage foundation will provide 24 hours of long lasting coverage and is available in a range of shades. So those are the shade ranges there. I don't even know if you can see that, but I'm in number 32 Amber, and this is the darkest shade they have, and obviously I'm not the darkest person on the planet, so I think they just need to expand their range because this foundation is actually really good. Okay, so I have been wearing this foundation for 2 weeks now, probably almost 3 weeks now. I know for some people that might not be long enough, but for me, I think that's long enough for me to tell if I'm, in love with this foundation or not. And I do have to say, I do like it. The reason being is because I do wear this foundation for more than 12 hours, sometimes a day, at least 10 hours a day. Now, I work as a cosmetic nurse in a cosmetic clinic. I basically do a lot of laser treatments, and those lasers can be quite warm, so I do go through different temperatures throughout the day. So I think this foundation has gone through different temperatures for me to actually see how well it's going to last through different temperatures. And I also wear goggles pretty much all the time, so obviously that's going to be rubbing around here. So I think I've tested this foundation enough. Okay, here's a clip of me applying the foundation. So at the moment I'm using the Baby Skin by Maybelline as a primer, and also Ben Nye's Beard Cover as Beard Cover Color Corrector. Now I mainly just use a pea size when I'm going for just a medium coverage, and I use a beauty blender. Well, this isn't a beauty blender, but it's a beauty sponge, you get the idea. So I basically just put it on my skin first, and then I bounce the sponge and blend it into the skin. Now I do find a pea size is pretty much enough to give me like a medium coverage, but knowing me, I always like to add a little bit more in certain parts of my face, especially around the 5 o'clock shadow area. Parts of my cheeks, sometimes I need a little bit more coverage there, but generally a pea size and a half gets me medium full coverage pretty much everywhere, and I'm pretty happy with that. And then I just go ahead and apply my concealer just for some brightening effect underneath the eyes, but generally all blemishes and just discoloration is pretty much knocked out with this foundation. Okay, so it says here coverage is high and finish is matte. So in terms of coverage, like I said, it gives me more of a medium full coverage. I wouldn't call this a full coverage foundation. I have seen the ads where they've used this to cover someone's tattoo on the arms. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't actually have tattoos, so I can't test that. But in terms of what I think, like, I have a 5 o'clock shadow, and for me, if you say full coverage, now everyone's definition of full coverage is different, but for me, if it's full coverage, like completely blank out. But even with my color correction, you can kind of still see a little bit of that green hue from my shaving. So that's why I don't classify it as a full coverage. I classify it as medium full because it completely knocks out everything else on my face. It's just you can still see the undertone of green there. Okay, in terms of finish, matte. Yes, I do have to agree, it is quite a matte finish. But would I not use a powder on top to set? I don't think so. I always set my foundations with powder regardless. I have tried their pure matte version before. Undertone and color wasn't right, so I had to get rid of it, but I did play with the formula on my skin. I do have to say it is quite drying. It's not like that. This one is definitely just got more of a velvety matte finish, if that makes sense. On the front it also says it's a weightless feel. I don't know, guys. I wear a lot of product on my face. Like, if you see my skincare routine, there's like facial oils, sunscreen, and then obviously primer, then foundation. I don't know. I'm so used to having so many layers on my face. I can't really tell if it's a weightless feel. But in terms of it, does it feel like a mask on my skin? No. But then again, you're taking this information from someone who wears pretty much cake face on an almost daily basis, so that's something to consider. So this foundation, last claim of this foundation says that it's also non-comedogenic, which means it's not going to clog your pores, cause a breakout. I haven't had that problem, but that being said, I've been really taking care of my skin the last few weeks, so that could also be it. But otherwise, I am pretty impressed with this foundation. As you guys know, I love L'Oreal's Lumi Magique True Match foundation ranges, and I'm pretty happy that I've got a infallible total cover to add to my favorites from the brand. Who would I recommend this foundation to? I would recommend this foundation to anyone that's got slightly oilier skin, normal skin, someone who's looking for a fuller coverage foundation. Again, it's not full coverage in my opinion, but it's definitely medium full, so you can definitely build it up to add a little bit more. I've only managed to build this up to probably like 2 layers. I don't go beyond that. Okay, so overall, what do I think about this foundation? I think it's a really, really good foundation. Now, I think overall, L'Oreal make one of the best foundations in the drugstore. Like, hands down, L'Oreal is pretty good at their foundations, I have to say. This is definitely going to be up in my like True Match, Lumi Magique range of favorites from the drugstore. Definitely love this. And yeah, I'm pretty happy that I've actually got a shade. Like, the other foundations from the infallible range, I've never really had a good color match. Like, this one is a bit more neutral, but it definitely still works. The others were a little bit too pink for me, so I'm really happy that I can actually try out the infallible range because I've actually got a color and it actually works and it looks really good. Again, 2 thumbs up for this foundation. And speaking of thumbs ups, if you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful, don't forget to thumbs up the video. I will leave a link to Priceline's website if you guys are interested in purchasing this foundation. I'll also leave all my social media links down in the description box down below. And if you guys are wondering, yes, I'm wearing contact lenses. These ones are by Solotica. I'll leave details of these lenses down in the description box down below as well. And don't forget to check out these other videos if you guys haven't already. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!